Okay, nice.
That's my car.
Yeah, light car. Yeah.
That's okay.
That's pretty good. It's you should be alright for the women's game. It should be alright for the men's. Usually, it's a bit tricky.
It's women's.
Yeah, it's women's. Yeah, you should be. Yeah, should be alright. It's undercover, I guess.
Yeah. You have a booth like this?
Not like this, no. It's like scaffolding, but with a cover. But it's pretty spacious. It's pretty like I've been up there with like 3 people.
Okay, like Rockdale.
Yeah, it's kind of like Rock. It's a bit smaller than Rockdale, but it's similar.
Yeah.
Similar. No, all good. Good afternoon and welcome to Seymour Shore in the heart of the Shire for a game that promises to be season-defining. As we count down to the end of the season, the race to avoid relegation is far from over, and with these teams making up part of the bottom four that are all locked on the same amount of points, every point and every goal matters. It should be a hard-fought 90 minutes or so ahead, and we can't wait to bring it to you live on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. I'm Will Constantinides bringing you this one, and there's a good crowd here this afternoon, a real big game atmosphere about how proceedings will go ahead down here in the Shire. And without any further delay, let's get straight into the team news for you this afternoon as part of your first game of a massive Saturday afternoon of football. Let's start with the host, the Sutherland Sharks, and they currently sit at the top of that bottom four, just outside the drop zone, ahead on goal difference by 9 goals ahead of Hills, who occupy that 15th spot. But things could all change after this round. They picked up an important win against Hills last weekend, which has them where they are, but they know that they need to keep picking up points as they have done recently, including a big win last weekend away to Hills rather, and a big win a couple of weeks ago to Spirit, including a draw against Marconi the week before that. But they'll need to pick it up again this afternoon against an opponent that they've historically struggled against, and we'll take a look at the team lineup as they make just the one change to the side that beat Hills last weekend, with Mitch Stamatellis coming into the side as Chris Lindsay drops to the bench. As for the rest of the 11, it goes like this. In goal is number 1, Nenad Vekic. 2, Kotaro Katsuda. 4, the captain, Mitchell Stamatellis. 5, Takahide Umabachi. 8 is Mo Ahmed. 11, the man in form as of late, getting the goals, is Jay McGowan, number 11. 15 is Matthew Morich. 22, Jacob Garner. 23, Lockie McDonald. 27, Matt Jackson. And number 77, Levi Shuriaga. As for Sydney FC, Jimmy Van Weeren sidewall, they sit bottom of the ladder, but only goal difference separates this young team from safety. And like their opponents, Sutherland, they've picked up some important wins, especially away from home. And they haven't lost to Sutherland in their last 6 meetings, and they'll be hoping they can do the business again and pick up an important win here this afternoon. A 2-1 loss at home last week to Blacktown City, where they pushed the top 4 side all the way, ultimately conceding in the 80th minute to Joey Gibbs. As Sutherland get us kicked off, we'll quickly run you through the Sydney lineup as they make 4 changes, including the inclusion of Aaron Gerd, who's been in and around the A-League side as of late. He's at number 3. Number 4 at the back alongside him is Joe Kalisic. 7 on the wing, Jacob Brissett. Number 9, Bailey Callahan, who scored last week off the bench. He gets rewarded with a start. Number 19, another new inclusion, is Mitch Glasson. 22 is their captain, Will Kennedy. 24, Wataru Kamiju. 30 in goal is Daniel Solsky. 32 is Sam Lancaster. 33, the man in form getting the goals, is Matthias McAllister. And number 34 is Blake Bolwell. And you can see over on that far side down in the corner a contingent of Sydney FC fans. They've made the trip down. Well, some Sydney fans may also live in the Shire as well. Might be just around the corner for them as Stamatellis goes up to win the header and does so. Immediately looking long there is Gerd to bring it under the feet of Kalisic, who clears for touch. Aside from those away fans down in the corner for Sydney FC, there's a massive contingent of Sutherland Sharks fans in the grandstand right in front of us here at Seymour Shore. It's a position that they were in last year as well, Sutherland, trying to avoid the drop zone. They had a big game around this time of the season against another academy side that were avoiding relegation, the Western Sydney Wanderers. As for now, though, we stay with this attack as McGowan was looking to find Shuriaga. Didn't make it work, but it's still here with Sutherland. It's Katsuda flicking it around the corner. They still have it. Shuriaga trying to flick it over the top. In comes the shot from Lockie McDonald. It's a very fast game being played here at Seymour Shore. These teams certainly know what's on the line. This grandstand continues to fill up after kickoff. There's not all that much room remaining, I can tell you that right now. This is very full Seymour Shore. Also, a few other sides in the bottom 4 as well, including Hills and the Mariners. Those are the other 2 that are locked on 21 points alongside these 2, keeping a close eye on proceedings, no doubt. As Umabachi sends his defender the other way, and now they can play forward with Katsuda. Touch was a little heavy, but he was able to keep it under his control. And they immediately shifted out wide, courtesy of Mo Ahmed's pass. Matt Jackson takes a tumble. And eventually he's paid the foul by our centre referee, Adrian Arndt. Our assistants on either side are Hugh Fenton White and Isaac Riggs, and our fourth official is Ayad Naji. And so a set-piece opportunity here for the host to try and put a bit of pressure on the Sydney FC goal, as we'll take it right in front of the travelling support. Over there is Matt Jackson, who won the foul. Floated into the area. And is hooked away by Sydney and almost not there. It's nervy moment at the back from Glasson, but it's fallen kindly enough to their keeper, Daniel Solski. And he will look to go long, take no chances out from the back, as we'll see how much these two sides really go out and attack. As their ladder position on the lines, have not been the greatest attacking outfits this season, but in a game like this, who knows what could happen as Jackson tumbles for the ball with Matthias McAllister over on that far side, making up a front two with Glasson. It'll be a very intriguing pairing between the two of them. Ball pinballs around in midfield. It's eventually on the feet of McAllister, who try and turn his way out of trouble. Only ran into a couple of sky blue shirts, though, as instead Aaron Gerd takes over proceedings and moves the ball wide. It was with Kennedy. Here is Brissett, liking his chances through the centre of the park, and that's where he goes, taking on a couple of defenders. Still Brissett looking to feed that pass forward, and now it's fallen on the top of the area for Bolwell. It's flicked out towards the back stick. Brissett was there waiting for it. Instead it falls to Glasson, and Sutherland do well to deal with that. All on his own with Shuriaga, and he's done well to win his side a foul there. Aaron Gerd a bit too eager in his back. And Aaron Gerd making his first appearance of the NPL season in such an important game as well. Fans would be remembering that he spent a lot of time in the A-League with Sydney FC, was part of a pretty young backline as well for Sydney. He has played in the NPL before. Did play a handful of games last season and a few before as well, so it's no stranger to this level of competition, of course. It's a lot of the Sydney FC players come through, but it's his first of the year. And the Sydney side that has really leaked goals this season. They sit bottom of the league in terms of goals conceded. Sydney start to play out from the back. Kamiju moves it on for Gerd, who looks long over the top in search of Glasson, and Glasson had just drifted offside. And Glasson himself has been in and out of the NPL side. Just his 10th start of the season, 10th appearance as well. First appearance since back in round 17, which is all the way in May. But when he has played, he's more often than not come up with the goals. He's got 4 goals to his name this season, so him and McAllister are a very interesting tandem up top that'll pose plenty of questions for this experienced backline of Stamatelis, Umabachi. There's Jacob Garner on that far side as well. Here is Stamatelis. Takes the space given to him and slides it along the back line. There's Jackson. Now Garner. Morich has checked short and has been rewarded with the pass, but his touch was a little heavy. That invited Gerd, and now Sydney FC can take control. Kamijo heard the call of man on. It was Jay McGowan that was on his back, and McGowan continues to press on to Kennedy. And for the time being, Sutherland are able to force Sydney FC back just a little bit, as here is Solski. And as the young side remain brave in possession, and here is Brissett, gets a quick turn and takes it around his man and drives forward. That's Lockie McDonald in pursuit. Callahan on the wing, gives it to Bolwell. This is good controlled possession by the visitors. And as mentioned, Sydney FC, they've got a good record against Sutherland. Back in 2019 was the last time they lost to them, as Garner goes in strong and was clean enough, says Adrian Arndt. And Sydney FC will keep it with the throw. As mentioned, Sydney FC have picked up their form away, and Sutherland statistically are the weakest side in the competition at home. They sit 16th in the league for home form, so visitors will be hoping they can get one up. Can come up with a clutch result against Sutherland. It'll really swing the tide of their season. We'll be hoping that their experience over the youngsters will pay dividends in such an important match as first corner of the game for Sydney FC. Camijo whips it in. Up there was McAllister, couldn't make the required connection on it. It's fallen back out for Brissett. He turns and plays the safe pass. Now here's Aaron Gerd. Camijo. Looking to combine through the centre of the park. Instead it's picked off by Umabachi. Sutherland will just get their foot on the ball and slow things down momentarily. Taro Katsuda receives it back off Stamatelis. As Garner sprays that ball out wide for McDonald. That's a delightful pass, and Sutherland might still benefit from it despite the deflection. As Shuriaga is going to put Solski under pressure here, and he wanted the back pass, but looks like it took a big enough deflection for the liking of Adrian Arndt. And last time these two teams met, it was back in round 10 of this year in April. That was a 0-0 draw at Illingdon Sports Centre, so a very tight affair on that day. And it's actually the only away clean sheet that Sutherland have picked up this season. The rest of their 5 have been at home, as McAllister looks to do some damage and just ran out of room along the goal line and might receive a little bit of a talking to, as Nenad Vekic might have been protesting with Adrian Arndt over him kicking the ball away. Instead, that the Sutherland will get going once again. See Nenad Vekic also barking out some instructions to his striker, Levi Shuriaga. Just trying to get their distribution just right, as Sutherland have been more or less stuck in the middle third. Neither side with the major chances of yet, with just over 10 minutes gone. I'll try and play their way out here. Here is Mo Ahmed. Stamatelis now has his head up, looking to slice that ball through the centre of the park, and does find McGowan, as just see what they were trying to work there with Lockie McDonald. And his back 5 of Sutherland right now, looking to really stretch the width, but so far Sydney have done a good job of denying them progress further up the pitch. As there is Stamatelis, who hooks his clearance forward, and this will turn around the Sydney defence, and now Shuriaga might be in this. Instead it's Solski. He gets quickly off his line and claims that with 2 hands. And Solski making his 4th start in goal. He's come into the side as of late. It was Alex Zavadinos who was previously occupying that number 1 spot for Sydney FC. The 21-year-old goalkeeper in just his 4th appearance for the side. A big task on his hands today, that's for sure. A very difficult situation to come into. Side, whilst equal on points, they're still at the bottom of the ladder. Every game counts from here on in. Here is McAllister. Lovely twists and turns and almost was able to find his way out. Instead, Sutherland swarm him and they quickly win the ball back. This game's been a real arm wrestle so far. 10 minutes gone and it's been a battle of possession. Good header, one in the air by Bolwell. Here is Bailey Callahan. Able to take his man down the line and tries to float that ball in, and Nenad Vekic didn't look too worried. He'll float over for a Sutherland goal kick. It'll be a corner rather, might have taken a deflection on its way through, and so Sydney will continue the attack here. Camijo has gone over to take this one again. With an out-swinging right-footed delivery. Numbers around the penalty spot for Sydney FC. That's where he tries to go, but it can't beat Shuriaga. Up there is Kennedy, who punches that out wide again for Camijo, who takes his man down the line. Still has possession, does Camijo, and there is Mitch Stamatellis to mop things up for Sutherland. And uses his veteran smarts to take the deflection off the youngster and get his side the ball back through the goal kick. And as mentioned, Sutherland, they haven't been as good at home, but they've actually been pretty decent away. They're 10th in the league in terms of away form, which is a marked improvement on their home form. Just 3 wins from 11 here, including a couple of draws as well. And as Ahmed had spotted the pressing McAllister and plays his way to the left side. Jackson. Now Sutherland can make their move with a bit more substantial support in midfield. Umabachi, who of course scored last week as part of that 2-0 win for Hills, against Hills rather. And his second ever goal for Sutherland. Stamatellis. The Sutherland backline has seen plenty of the ball. Sydney are well set in this 4-4-2 shape with Glasson and McAllister at the top of that, as Umabachi tries to get around McAllister and did well enough to find McGowan. The pass is well shut down there by Wataru Camijo. Him and Sam Lancaster in midfield as the 2 in the 4-4-2, that is, in the midfield. Flanked by Bailey Callahan and Jacob Brissett. They'll have to patrol those passing lanes. Stamatellis again, who's probably seen the most of the ball out of any player on the pitch. Every time he gives it away, it's an uncharacteristic error from him. Good turn in midfield by Ahmed. Shuriaga. Here's Ahmed again, who lines up the strike. It might have deflected on its way through, and Sydney FC can play their way out of trouble as Katsuda, a bit too eager in the back of Brissett, and that relieves a bit of pressure on Sydney FC. As mentioned, these two sides are in very different positions this time last year compared to each other, as Sutherland, again, in that relegation battle, they dodged it last year. Got a big win against the Wanderers same time around last season. And the Sydney FC were up in the upper mid-table area. And the refresh of this young squad with a few players from that side last year being pulled into the A-League has put them in this rather precarious position. And Sydney FC have won it cleanly. Camijo immediately has his head up looking for McAllister in behind Garner. Have to dig it out of the corner as it'll be just a throw. Sydney FC so far have probably had the majority of territory. It's been pretty even in terms of possession, but nothing really to show for it for either side in terms of shots on goal. As Callahan checks in and gives it back. And he's drifted offside there, has Bailey Callahan, just didn't get back. Good to see him rewarded with the start. Bailey Callahan, he came off the bench last week against Blacktown City in that 2-1 loss. He did get that one goal, though. 23 first-grade appearances to his name and 12 starts and 3 goals as well. He's been a big part of this team, whether it's off the bench or starting. McGowan linking up with Katsuda, and they flick it over the top. This is well worked here by Shuriaga. Great turn there by Matthias McAllister. Sold his defender and almost invited the overlapping Bailey Callahan. It's been a game of small gains so far. Now Sutherland look to make something of their own. Here is Shuriaga, who is hounded by Aaron Gerd, and Gerd has given away the foul. Adrian Arden will just have a bit of a talking to with the Sydney FC central defender. And Matt Jackson again finds himself in the familiar position of taking a free kick right in front of travelling Sydney Cove. This will be a very dangerous position for Sydney FC to defend. Sutherland will like their chances from here. The in-swinging right-footed delivery of Jackson awaits. In it comes. Near post is where it goes. Shuriaga got a toe on it, but couldn't get enough power to seriously trouble Daniel Solski. Again, the wait for a major chance continues. Stamatellis driving forward himself. Lockie McDonald to take the throw right in front of the Sutherland fans here. Goes down the line in search of Morich, and that's a great throw forward to keep the attack going. Morich appeals for the corner. He said it'll be a Sydney goal kick. I think that might have taken a touch of his head. So this game continues in a similar vein to how it did in round 10. Very tight game so far with 20 minutes played, and really not too many major chances if keepers have made any saves. They've been relatively comfortable. We saw Sutherland have one from just a moment ago through Shuriaga, but Solski wasn't seriously worried. Sutherland can turn. Here is Ahmed. Katsuda. Lovely link-up play with Shuriaga. And this is good from the Sharks. Morich able to dance his way along the sideline, and Sutherland have the ball with the throw. And that's a foul throw there. The lapse in concentration there from Sutherland, and they've cheaply turned over the ball. Matt Jackson who took it. A bit too eager to get things going, and did get his full hands behind the ball. Or behind his neck, rather. It's another foul. This time goes the way of Sutherland. It's been a very cagey start here at Seymour Shore. Probably underlines how important this game is. Both sides perhaps being a bit cautious to start, knowing that a loss could really dent their hopes of avoiding the drop. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with how relegation works from the NPL New South Wales men's competition, it's the bottom side that sits 16th that are automatically relegated. Right now, Sydney FC are there. And the side in 15th play a 2-game playoff series against the side that's second in League One. And last season, that was Mount Druitt Town Rangers. And they lost to St. George, who came up as Mount Druitt went down. Stamatellis, lovely crossfield ball. And Jackson looking to take on Callahan, and got around him and might be able to keep this in here, does Jackson. ball along the ground, and he's won his side a corner. And all starts with the distribution of Mitch Stamatelis, which is the only change to the side that beat Hills last weekend. Right now he's doing a pretty handy job. In comes the corner. Sutherland looking to break the deadlock, and comes to nothing. Ahmed again. It's that near post delivery that Sutherland are looking for. We've seen that a few times now, either from free kicks or corners. They're trying to target that area, but right now they haven't been able to make the angles work and haven't created a substantial chance. Again, Sutherland find themselves in the familiar position of playing out from their own area, but Sydney FC now trying to press as Callahan has come over to this wing, so they've swapped him and Brissett. And this time Sutherland do well. It's a lovely flick by Shuriaga right in front of the home fans. They love it. As here comes Jay McGowan. He's been the danger man, looking to drive that ball through the Sydney FC defenders, and he's continuing the press here. And the time Sutherland do well, and they're trying to keep the tempo moving, but they don't like what they see. And instead, they'll start once again through the back with Takahide Umabachi. Japanese central defender, second season at the club. It's been a great signing for them. Adds a lot of steel at the back alongside him and Stamatelis. They're particularly tall central defenders. You've got Jacob Garner on that far side as well. Part of this central defender trio. And here's Nenad Vekic. Again, it's that crossfield ball out to Matt Jackson. His touch was good, but not much has been given here by Sydney FC. They continue to force them back as here goes Vekic. Oh, tidy work there by Nenad Vekic. He backed himself against Jacob Brissett. It was cool under pressure there, was the former Wollongong Wolf. And so far between these two sides, it's been a case of who is going to blink first. Now Stamatelis makes his move to the centre, and they keep those rotations moving. Do Sutherland keep an eye on Stamatelis goes forward. You saw Katsuda moving back. Plenty of patience as the Sharks play out here. As here's Garner. Now they play between the lines with Shuriaga. Not being rushed by the youthful press of the visitors. Taking their time. Of course, this is one of 3 games coming your way this afternoon. We've got St. George City and Western Sydney on for you at 6:30 alongside Hills and Northwest Sydney Spirit at 7. That Hills game, a really important one as well for these two sides. And also part of that bottom 4 is here is Stamatelis. And now Sutherland have something a bit more to work with deep in Sydney FC's half this time. They go wide to McDonald. Floated ball, and it goes over everyone. That's another disappointing end to the attack for the hosts. As mentioned, Sydney FC, they've really picked up their away form as of late. They went winless in their first 6 away games of the season. That was the first 8 away games of the season. They had 7 wins and 1 draw in that time. And that all changed when we played the Mariners in Western Sydney. They drew away to the Mariners. Then they backed that up with a 3-0 win away to the Wanderers in the Derby. That was their first away win of the season. They also got another away win a couple of weeks ago against St. George City. So after going 8 games without an away win, in their last 3, they have 2. Looking to stretch their unbeaten run away from the Illingdon Sports Centre out to 4. It's going to be a tall task this afternoon. A game as high profile as this. Here is McGowan. Now Katsuda. This is good from Sutherland. Keeping the ball moving. Katsuda goes for it. And had good power on the shot. It was just rising a little bit over Daniel Solski's goal, but you just sense Sutherland are finding their groove a bit more now as we enter the final 15, 16 minutes of this first half. Now as they play out from the back, they're doing so with a bit more success and getting into the final third a lot easier than they were before. Just a bit of a warning shot there fired at the Sydney FC goal, as Sydney FC might have something of their own here, as Glasson was surely offside. In any case, it fell to Vekic. Here is Garner. Vekic takes no chances this time after his fancy feet in his box. He goes long. Callister. He's been instrumental to Sydney's late season push in terms of form. We'll get to him and the statistics around how they play when he's in the side later. As all good here. He has to be careful now. He picks up a yellow card and might count himself lucky that there are a couple of Sydney FC defenders around him and he wasn't closer to his own goal. And he goes into the book in his first NPL appearance of the season. And it's Jay McGowan who he dragged back, and now the Sydney FC central defender is on a caution for the remaining 60 minutes of this game. And now Jay McGowan looks to be in some discomfort. He would be a huge loss if he were to be out of the side. He has scored in 4 of Sutherland's last 5 matches. It's been so good in such an important time of the season. Looks to be okay though. Here goes Sutherland again. This has been a positive 10 minutes or so for them, looking to make it count on goal. Here is McGowan. Morich looking to play it back with him. Instead it's given away, and now Sydney can race away on the counter. It's come out to the far side with Glasson. As Callaghan in support to his left. Might choose to go himself here, Mitch Glasson. Giving it for Brissett. Here is Camijo. They keep it moving, Lancaster. Bolwell. Back out to Brissett. Looks to feed in between the defenders. Out came Vekic, and Stamatelis takes no chances with his clearance. Anywhere will do. Not a lot of space around the edge of the area for Sydney FC to work with. They tried to flick it over the top of the Sutherland defence instead of going through them. That one is out. Sydney FC looking for that floated delivery to the 6-yard area. We'll see what they do this time, Sutherland. They've really mixed it up, playing out from the back with Vekic. Sometimes they've gone short, sometimes they've gone long, and it's a shorter option on this occasion. Oh, they give it away rather cheaply there. That's a bad turnover in an unfortunate area, as Callaghan was inches away from connecting with that cross. As here is Kalisic under pressure from McGowan, but he does well. And here is Kennedy, the captain. Camijo might be backed into a corner here, as looking to find their way out. Instead, it's a cheap turnover. Here is Levi Shuriaga. Rather casual in that pass and paid the price, but it's still Sutherland who have it. They want the handball against Kennedy. Instead, it's a physical battle between him and McDonald, and the whistle goes in favour of Sydney FC this time. Two of the last 3 matches these two sides have played have ended in 0-0 draws, so perhaps not all that surprising that the game has started this way in terms of how tight it's been. But it's opening up ever so slightly as these two sides find their rhythm. And as in comes that cross, and it's over. Didn't have anyone particularly worried. Did that one from Bolwell. Played out a 5-goal thriller back into last season in August. It was Sydney FC who came away with the win 3-2 at Valentine Sports Park. None of the 3 scorers on that day are in the starting 11. Lockie Middleton, who's on the bench, did score in that game. Sutherland want the high foot, instead stays with Sydney FC. Their 3 scorers on that day were Oscar Fryer, who's now signed with the Jets a couple of weeks ago. He actually, rather unfortunately for him, tore his ACL. There's Vekic and Umabachi. Briefly, a bit of confusion there, but they sorted it out soon enough. See, Oscar Fryer, who showed so much promise throughout this season for Sydney FC, got his transfer to the Jets. And it was looking like a great pickup for them, and has taken a really unfortunate injury in pre-season. Also scoring that day was Joe Lacey. For now, though, it's rather difficult to tell who's going to get this first goal. Sydney have probably had the majority of the territory in terms of where the ball has spent time in Sutherland's own half. In terms of chances, Sutherland have maybe had the better, but there's not all that much in it. Here goes Jackson, lovely nutmeg to create the space, looking centrally for Shuriaga. And just that little bit of creativity is what Sutherland need right now to try and unlock this defence. Instead, it's again at the feet of Sutherland. Chess match between these two continues. For now, both sides have really had an answer to everything they've thrown at each other. Not giving much away defensively. It's tightly played first half. 10 minutes remaining here at Seymour Shaw. Still 0-0. It doesn't look like it will change anytime soon, given the way these two sides are defending. Very staunch defence. The pattern of the game has really been Sutherland with the ball in their defensive third, looking to keep it and play their way over Sydney FC, as they've done so on this occasion. Here's Morich. Now McGowan has McDonald overlapping, and that's where he goes. Being promptly tracked down there by Bailey Callahan, who's given him a bit of a push in the back, and that's a relatively quick and easy decision there for the officials on the near side. And the set piece count continues to rise for Sutherland. They've had a fair few free kicks and corners. Haven't forced Solski into any major saves as of yet. Sydney being a young side, giving up a bit in terms of physicality. Set piece might be a good option here. And this time it'll be McGowan. We've seen Jackson take the others on the far side. In comes the ball from McGowan. It's cleared away by Sydney. Only as far as Matt Jackson. Well, might have taken out his own teammate there in came off worse for wear. Bit of nervous energy in the grandstand here at Seymour Shore. As fans waiting to see how such an important game will play out. As here is Camijo trying to sandwich his way through a couple of defenders. He's one inside to throw though. Taro Camijo back in the side. He was out of the squad last weekend. Him, Bailey Callahan, Aaron Gerd and Mitch Glasson are the 4 players that joined the starting 11 as Stamatellis had rushed off his line, and now Sydney FC might have some numbers here. Here is Callahan, last week's goal scorer, looking to make an impact. He goes on his right. It's muzzled there by the Sutherland defence. They got in the way of his shot. You just see the desperation of Sutherland defending there. As soon as Callahan had half an inch of space to create the shot, he was promptly shut down by a handful of blue Sutherland shirts. Looking to close that gap as quickly as it opened. As Brissett has won his side a foul here. And just taking a look at that shot from Callahan again. He drifted inside and he had McDonald, Stamatellis and Umabachi denying that shot any further progress. And now as time ticks away in this first half, it'll be a Sydney FC free kick. Camijo has gone across the take. It's right on the sideline. See how the delivery is for the visitors. In it comes again. It's towards that near post area, but it can't clear the first defender, and that's something that these two sides have shared. These set pieces been well defended as Brissett with a bit of room to turn. You can see all those blue shirts on the edge of the area. Here is Callahan again, a similar position to where he was before. Couldn't swerve that ball past Stamatellis. Back out to Bolwell. And there is Mitch Stamatellis again. Doing everything his side needs right now is the Sutherland captain. Looks like it will be a goal kick. Sydney wanted the corner. And for Sydney FC, of course, aside from their duties in the NPL, a few of these players might be called into their Australia Cup match away to the Oakley Cannons in 10 days' time. I'll look to defend the Australian Cup. They won it last season against Brisbane Roar in the final. No doubt Wilfred Tale has his eyes on his young NPL side. Plenty of players might be looking to fill out some senior spots. We've seen Aaron Gerd, who's been in the mix. I have to think someone like Matthias McAllister, the form he's shown as of late. All the goals that have really kept Sydney FC in the fight. Without him, it's interesting to think where they'd be. And McAllister, of the 7 starts he's had in the NPL side, Sydney have 4 wins, a draw and 2 losses. That's a handy record with him in the side. Whenever he's scored, they've usually won. Of the games he's scored, his side have only lost 1 game. So if he gets on the score sheet today, there'll be a handy chance of going on and getting the 3 points. And for a side that has struggled so much in front of goal, he's been such an impact player. Katsuda is pressured by a couple of white shirts. Takes safety in his goalkeeper though. Here's Nenad Vekic. Once again they go long. And they're favouring that left side with Jackson. See if they bring it back out to the right this time. Back again to the left. Here is Jacob Garner. ball is intercepted by Gerd. Brissett has Garner on his back and nothing being given between those two. Here's Mo Ahmed. Now McGowan. You can just see there, Stamatellis made his move forward. And now the Sharks have to be careful they don't turn it over. With one of their central defenders now in midfield. And Shuriaga competing with Kamijo for it. And it's the Sharks who have won out. Jackson, who's loved bombing on down that left wing. Couple of step overs to try and duke out his man. In comes the delivery. It's a good one as Solski's come out. And it looks like it was Matthew Murrich who was a bit too eager to challenge the Sydney FC goalkeeper for that ball. It's the keeper who's always going to get the benefit of the doubt there. And that time it was a well-worked move there by the Sharks. Started with Jackson. And a better cross almost caused some serious problems for Sydney FC. As the fourth official prepares the board, Ayad Naji. We'll wait and see how much additional time will be added on. Don't think there'll be too much. It's been a free-flowing game, even if it's been a tightly contested one with no score as of yet. Now here's Callahan. Again, a familiar position, cutting in on his right. The cross doesn't match, though, and it'll be calmly rolling away there for a goal kick for Sutherland. On the other side of the break, we'll talk about the relegation battle and these two sides and what their run home looks like. Of course, this game is extremely significant. 3 points here could be season defining, as we spoke about, but it's all about backing it up down the stretches. There'll be 5 games left after this one. Always good to get points over a relegation rival, as there'll be 1 minute of time added on. Expected result there, so maybe just one chance for each of these sides remaining in this half before they head into the sheds for some words of advice as to how they can try and break open this game. This is a second ball on the pitch here. Play continues, though, as up goes Aaron Gerd. It's right in the picture there, the second ball. Callahan. Play continues there by Adrian Arndt. It's been good to see a very free-flowing game. Officials have done well to keep this one going. It's still 0-0 on the score, nothing to separate them. No side can really lay claim to a big chance that they should have taken. And that's all we have for you in the first half. Very cagey start to proceedings here at Seymour Shore, as can be expected in such a big game with potentially huge consequences in the relegation race. I've been Will Constantinides with you for the first 45. We'll see you back soon on the other side of this short break. Welcome back to the second half of football here at Seymour Shore. It was a cagey first half with neither side really giving an inch, which has left us at 0-0 heading into the second period of what is a very important game in the race to avoid the bottom. As Sydney FC get us back underway, it's floodlights on here at Seymour Shore. The sun has well and truly gone down here in the Shire. And let's see if either of these two teams can find the all-important opening, as it's Sydney FC who look to get going. Here is Glasson looking for McAllister on the cutback. It'll be Sydney ball. I'll get the corner. As they go short, in comes the delivery. It's on the penalty spot, but it's well dealt with by the Sharks as McGowan looks to turn his way past Kalisic. And Stamatellis was rushing his opposing centre-back Gerd there. And the outcome of all that pressure is it'll be a Sutherland throw. Doesn't look like either of these two sides made any changes at the break, so we'll have a full bench to choose from. For the Sharks, they have Chris Lindsay, Jordan Roberts, Sam Gulasano, Andrew Vlachamadis, Mason Fernandez, and the backup goalkeeper Jacob Kremen-Cowan. As for Sydney FC, they have Dylan Rose and Ayuk Mo, who started last week. Also on the bench is Jared Middleton and Lockie Middleton, as well as Myron France and Gus Hofslit. Camijo heads that on, and it'll be Glasson who takes control in the middle. Flicks it over Stamatellis, but there is Mo Ahmed. See if this second half continues much in the way it did for the first 45. There is McGowan to put the pressure on. As briefly mentioned in the first half, 2 of the last 3 meetings between these sides have ended in 0-0 draws. And the draw really wouldn't do all that much for either of these two. 3 points is what is really going to make the difference in their fight for safety. Sutherland look to go down the line. It's interrupted though by Sydney. Good turning in midfield there by Kennedy. He's almost run himself into trouble there. Sutherland can't, well, Sydney rather, can't play their way out. Sutherland deny them, and Sutherland will get the throw, but they'll have to take a bit further back for Adrian Arndt's liking. And they'll restart play once again in much of the same pattern that we saw in the first half, with the Sharks keeping the ball in their own half. Again, they go long. It's fizzed out wide towards McDonald. There is Brissett. Again, you can just see as soon as any Sydney FC midfielder picks up the ball, Sutherland are instantly drawn to them. The Sharks looking to try and win back possession, deny Sydney getting forward, and they've done a good job so far. Wasn't all that many chances, really. You would have seen our halftime stats during the break. It was really only 2 or 3 shots each for these two teams. As here is McGowan. Looks to have shaken off that knock he had in the first half. Shuriaga tries to get around Gerd, who is on a yellow card. Reminder of that one. Only player into the book so far. It's his first NPL appearance of the season, as mentioned. Camijo knocks it on, but it's only as far as Matt Jackson, who had a really productive first half getting forward down this left wing. And Sutherland fans will be delighted that he's now on their side of the ground. They can watch him in full effect. His overlapping runs were key to the rare chances that Sutherland were able to create. There he's now defending, battling away with McAllister, and he comes out on top, and that means Sutherland can get going down this wing. There he is, trying the turn where he didn't really need to. There's Jackson. Oh, he's giving it away there. There's McAllister. And now here is Glasson. Sydney FC in a good position, and it's off the crossbar from Glasson. It's come back out here for Will Kennedy. His touch might have been a bit loose, and that allowed the Sharks to recover the ball, and now they might build a counter of their own. Here's McGowan. Has Shuriaga ahead of him. Still Jay McGowan. And pass was intercepted there, but it's stayed with the Sharks. McGowan turning and shooting. And that's the best chance of the game, and it's gone the way of the visitors. It was Mitch Glasson who was looking to add to his tally for the season, and he's rattled the crossbar. The game really continues to open up. Whilst it started really cagey and continued much in that way in the first half, it really opened up as the half continued, as McAllister looks to connect with Glasson. That time Jacob Garner's wiser to it, as McDonald got the call of man on, and his side are still in possession. Quick throw taken by McGowan. The Sharks looking to move quickly. McGowan, low driven cross, stays with him though. Sydney not able to clear their lines as of yet. Here is McDonald. Didn't look convincing with that strike. It goes over the bar. Solsky in goal, still looking for that first clean sheet. As here comes the first substitution of the game, it'll go the way of the visitors. Looks like it'll be Ayuk Mo receiving final instructions, as well as just the one change for now. They've sent as well Lockie Middleton for a warm-up. For now, though, something when they're on the attack. Well defended by Sydney. Pinballing through the centre of the park. Glasson stayed on side. The flag is down. Sutherland thought he was coming back from an offside position. Here is Brissett. Has the tricks to get forward. We saw that in the first half. Camijo is in midfield, keeping possession moving. Switch of play. Can't get over Jackson's head. They were looking for Callahan. There is Morich. Ran into a couple of Sydney defenders and has been bailed out by that foul. Glasson had eyes up for goal ahead of him, and here comes that substitution now. So the first of the game coming for Van Weeren and Sydney FC. It'll be Bailey Callahan who makes way. A difficult first half for him and many of these Sydney FC attackers. And it's Ayuka Mo who will replace him. So Mo, who started last week, and Callahan, who was on the bench last week. And this time they swap places. It's allowed to bounce, and that invites Mo Ahmed. Good. Half-hearted cries of handball are waved away by Adrian Arndt. And that time there'll be an easy foul, and Mo Ahmed was a bit too eager. You can see both of these sides looking to play quickly. This time they go over the top. Glasson has drifted wide, but he's well marshalled there by Jacob Garner. Sydney FC looking to make something in the final third. Again, the Sharks deny them. The first 10 minutes of this second half rather, have continued much as they did in the first. Glasson's crossbar strike, the only real chance so far. Sent high into the night sky. There goes Stamatellis looking to control it with composure. Instead, it's taken off his toe by Mitch Glasson. Stamatellis went to ground. It's still here with Glasson. Flashing wide of the goal. And Mitch Glasson is really finding his feet now in the second half. That's a couple of opportunities he's had. And Sydney FC will be encouraged by what they're seeing out of their strike partnership. Linking up with a bit more effectiveness now, and it's Glasson who's been on the end of these chances. And he doesn't need further invitation. He struck the crossbar and he was inches away from hitting the side netting there. All started with a bit of a giveaway by Stamatellis as he looked to take it on his feet instead of going for the headed clearance. Sydney FC again, they win it back in a good position. They've done well to win it in the attacking third. And that time it doesn't come to fruition. They'll have to see it with Sutherland in the goal kick instead. So Sydney FC will certainly be the happier of these two sides as to how this second half has started. Vekic goes long, takes no chances. Shuriaga battles with Kalisic. It's Sydney FC defender who wins. Here is Kalisic again. He's looking to bustle his way through the traffic. Instead, it's given away. And now Sutherland have something to work with. Shuriaga turning one way then the other. Just couldn't beat the second defender, which was Will Kennedy. And Sydney FC were tracking back in numbers to stop Shuriaga. Here is Daniel Solski. He's forced to the right-hand side. It'll be a bit difficult for Bolwell to deal with as Mo had Jackson rushing behind him. As Jackson was looking for McGowan, he spotted him on that far side, couldn't connect the pass. As the man in form continues to loom large for the Sharks, that's Jay McGowan. They go long again. It's McDonald who has something to chase. Has the legs to get to it. Can they make it work though? He sliced that ball in and it almost went in from McDonald. A half shot, half cross, almost going into the back of the net from the Sutherland wingback. Daniel Solski had to be on his toes. And Lockie McDonald, who's played a far more advanced role in the second half compared to what he did in the first. That time, almost finding the opener. Just looking at the replay, had delightful swerve on it, that natural outside of the foot curve. Sutherland quickly take the corner. In comes the ball. Again, it can't clear the first defender. There is McDonald, a second chance at the strike. It's back out here with Matthew Morich. Floated delivery towards the penalty spot. Omabachi gets his toes to the ball. Now here is Stamatellis. McGowan. Now it's the Sharks' turn to pile on some pressure. Both these sides throwing a couple jabs early here. McDonald. Sydney FC on the counter. Ayuk mode. Now he's got a bit more space to work with. The substitute shapes the cross. Again, the Sharks are able to deal with it comfortably. Well, taken in the air as Stamatellis has gone down here, and now this might force a substitution here by the Sharks. Double sub is coming in any case for Sydney FC as Stamatellis is down writhing in pain. It'll be Lockie Middleton and Myron France coming on. Looks like Brissett has gone off on that far side as well. And so Sydney have gone to the bench in search of bit of inspiration. That's 3 changes they've made already in the first 15 minutes. Sharks are yet to make one. Stamatellis seems to be okay. He's back up on his feet. And Will Kennedy was the other man off. I know he's on rather. I'm fooled there by the announcement. And so Lockie Middleton goes into the centre of the park with Wataru Kamijo. Both of them signed to first-team scholarship deals. Middleton, who had a bit of a breakout season with the A-League side. He's been part of the Joeys as well. So brings a high amount of quality into this team as he goes on in midfield, and his first involvement is to foul Matt Jackson. Here is McAllister, couldn't get his way past Umabachi. Here is Garner. Has to drive his way through traffic. Out to Morich. They found their way out McGowan. They have the overlap if they can find McDonald, who's gotten forward again. And Umabachi's also joining him here. The Sutherland Sharks on the full flow in attack. Umabachi goes with the cross. And they had the numbers, Sutherland, on that occasion. Couldn't make them count, though, and now they have to be worried about a potential counter on the other end as Sydney FC might take advantage of some of the numbers that got forward. Here is Glasson using Mo, who's drifted wide to receive. Ayuk Mo step overs towards the byline and it's well defended. And the Sharks win a foul after all that as Mo had lunged out in search of connecting with the ball on the cross. Fortunately for him, he only connected with the man. There's Matt Jackson, who was getting back there. Probably been one of Sutherland's best players so far, I'd say, Matt Jackson. Been good on both ends of the ball. Going forward, he's been lively. He's done his defensive duties well as part of a back five, back three. Header is well won there by Shiriaga as Morich has gone down, and a rather needless foul given away there by Blake Bolwell. Didn't make all that much contact, but he still pulled down his man nonetheless. And now Sutherland, again, they have a free kick to work with. Matt Jackson again to deliver the set piece. This is probably the best position they've had one in so far, Sutherland. Jackson to deliver. Can't clear the first man, and that's been a frustrating trend for Sutherland. As Jackson puts his hand up in apology. And Jackson, who scored last week against the Hills. It's just his second goal of the season. His first since back in round 14 against St. George. And this afternoon he's been a bit more of a provider. Now, you never know with the way Sutherland are attacking. They like to be fluid and get players from various positions, whether it be defence or midfield, into the attack when they get one. Here is Garner out to Morich. And it had crossed the line before he was able to keep it in. That will be a Sydney FC throw. And so with 27 minutes remaining, still no subs yet for Sutherland. And as Camijo puts that header towards Stamatellis, who gives one of his own towards McGowan. And that bounce was misjudged there by Kennedy. That could prove costly. And now Sutherland have a counter-attack. McGowan dances along the sideline and has won his side a throw. And that'll give the Sharks a chance to march some numbers forward into the attacking half. To say whichever side really gets this opener, it might be the only goal of the game we get, given how cagey it's been, as Morich thought he had a chance on goal, and the flag is up in any case. As mentioned, there's been a bit of a low-scoring trend between these two sides whenever they've played each other. As mentioned, 2 of their last 3 have been 0-0s, but outside of that, they've had games where they've had 5, 6, or even 7 goals in the last couple of years. They've had a 3-3, they've had a 4-3, which Sydney won. We spoke about the 3-2 that Sydney FC won last year. Doesn't look like we're set for a 5+ goal thriller, but you never know. There's Mo. He's looked lively since coming on, and he takes in his man, and he crosses. And Stamatellis, no, it was... See who's gone down there. Still at Sydney FC. They don't care. They want to keep this attack going. I think it's Garner who's slow to his feet. In comes the shot from Camijo. And it was just swerving away from that far post. He was looking to nestle it into the bottom corner. And it just dipped away at the last moment. That was a golden opportunity for Sydney FC. That's a couple of chances they've had now on the Sutherland goal. And they're growing in confidence now, the young side, sensing that their opportunity is coming. And Wataru Kamijo wasn't far away from making it his. Here's Garner, who's down there. He was really taken aback there by that cross. It looks like the Sharks are going to be making a sub rather soon. It'll be Mason Fernandez, the former Western Sydney Wanderers man, joined the Sharks this season from the Wanderers, also formerly of Sydney FC. A season prior to that in 2022. Certainly an impact attacking player that they can bring off the bench. It's a good first change to go to. Couple of goals to his name as well. Good header, well won in the air there by Gerd. Matthias McAllister kept it in and couldn't beat Jackson that time. Have to wait a bit longer to see their first sub of the game come on. Bolwell searches for an option that he likes. The one he chooses is Glasson. He's battling away and he's won inside the ball here, but there is Stamatellis to clean it up. It's only as far as Bolwell. And Kamijo, who had that shot just a moment ago that wasn't far away from the bottom corner. Sydney FC, they switch it from right to left. Marin France turning inside. Sharks win it back, but they don't have many numbers to build the counter. Here is France again. He's got the close control to cause problems. Still Marin France away from a trio of Sutherland defenders. And that time he couldn't beat the fourth and fifth, just holding on to it a bit too long there, the Sydney FC winger. Now it's the Sharks' turn. You can see they just want to slow things down a little bit. Try and take the sting out of this fast-paced Sydney FC attack, but the visitors aren't letting them. They're winning the ball back quickly. There'll be a foul there. It was Kamijo who went in a bit too strongly there. And the Sharks want a caution on the Sydney FC midfielder. Felt that his legs were a bit raised there. Substitution is coming now for the hosts. It'll be Mason Fernandez. So we'll see who he comes on in place of. And it is going to be number 8, Mo Ahmed. So a midfielder for a midfielder there. And Mason Fernandez makes his 21st appearance of the season, his 6th off the bench in all competitions. And Ahmed, who has been battling tooth and nail inside the midfield here this afternoon. It's been hard going out there. It's really where the small margins have been, as Mo presses Garner, who looks to have collected himself after that head knock before. Sydney FC now as Glasson has gotten into a good position here. Mitch Glasson looking for the cross that he likes. He drives it low and hard. It's still with the visitors. Middleton out wide to Kennedy. Middleton shifting and twisting in midfield, and he's put his pass there behind his right back. And that's a giveaway that the Sutherland Sharks fans like. Sensing that every single giveaway could matter. Shuriaga couldn't control the ball. Here is Sydney once more. Kalisic looking to target the gaps between the defenders as Middleton has stepped in here and has won the ball in a good position and was looking for that chip over the top behind the Sydney FC defence. So Sutherland defence rather. And it was Nenad Vekic out to sweep his back five. So could we be set for the third 0-0 between these sides in their last four meetings? It doesn't really do either for any of them in terms of avoiding the drop. A win is absolutely crucial. The draw maybe just maintains the status quo. These points are important whichever way they come, knowing that the Hills and the Mariners, who both have relatively tough fixtures. Mariners are at home to Blacktown City. They picked up points at home recently, have the Mariners. Blacktown will be a tall task because they've gotten a result against Apia in recent times, have the Mariners Academy. Meanwhile, for Hills, they have Spirit at home, a game that they'd like their chances against. Hills are in the mid-table. The Spirit are in the mid-table. Hills are down in the bottom four, of course. Here is Ayuk Mo. Fresh legs have certainly made a difference out there. Bringing in another dimension for the Sharks to consider at the back. Lovely turn by Myron France. He's really shown his skill since he's come on. And that'll be a goal kick. Myron France making his 11th appearance, or 15th appearance rather, of the season. 5th off the bench. He has a trio of goals to his name, but it's been some time since he last scored. It was back in round 8 that he got on the score sheet. For now, though, it's with his side. In comes that cross. It's a good one. It was looking for McAllister. Stamatellis was in the way. They were alert to it. Sharks continue to defend well. See, they're looking to pinch the ball in midfield and spring a counter-attack as Kotaro Katsuda gives away the foul. Time is running out for either of these two sides now. We're into the final 20. Cove on the far side finding their voice, sensing that their young side need a bit of a boost as in comes the ball. There is Jacob Garner. Bolwell need to play quick passes in midfield and they avoid the trouble. Now here is Mo. Can't beat Fernandez, who is there. And Fernandez has given away a foul. And this will be a good position for Sydney FC to maybe float the ball into the box. We've seen both Sutherland and Sydney struggle with creating quality chances from set pieces. They've been pretty good at defending. Here it is from Kamijo. It's a better ball this time. It's into the mix. There was Shuriaga and Stamatellis to clear, and it might just fall here for the visitors. Here's Glasson. Turns his way from a couple of Sharks defenders, gets to the byline and is bowled over. Wasn't enough contact in the challenge, says Adrian Arndt, and that'll be a Sutherland goal kick. Goes up to win the header. He's done well since being on a yellow card, as now Sydney have given it away. McGowan has spotted Mason Fernandez. The fresh legs of the substitute. Out it goes to Matt Jackson, and you can just see and hear the frustration in the home crowd. They knew that was a good opportunity to put in a quality ball, and Matt Jackson couldn't get his head over it. He was ultimately skied over the bar. Looks like another change is coming. Be likely for the visitors. We'll see who it is. For now, though, they have to worry about defending. Myron France has continued to showcase his dribbling and has won his side a good foul. And that'll delight the Cove fans right in front of him. And they want the card. They'll have to wait, though. Sydney FC, who are really building a lot of pressure now. Taro Kamijo has his fingerprints on this free kick. Myron France has been a real bright spark since coming on. Tyro Kamija, there's two in the wall here for Nenad Vekic. Good opportunity for the visitors. It's floated in towards the back post, and there is Nenad Vekic rising above all and claiming that free kick for himself. His clearance forward didn't quite match it though. It was easily dealt with by Bolwell. And give it is the cry from the Sydney FC bench. They've been turned it over here. And Mason Fernandez, the former Sydney FC man, has to be careful when he's gotten away from a couple of players but couldn't get past Kamijo, who went in strong, and it's a real battle out there as we're into the final quarter of an hour. And now Matthew Morich has picked up a bit of a knock here, it seems, and that'll attract the attention of the Sharks medical staff. So a quick peek at Ayad Naji's board. It looks like it'll be Levi Shuriaga who's going to make way for Andrew Vlahodamus. Vlahodamus, who has 2 goals to his name. Those were both at St. George City, and he was in their 20 squad. It's just his 5th appearance if he were to come on for the Sharks since making the switch mid-season. Across the Georges River. Kataro Katsuda, who's been kept quiet by Sydney. Matthew Morich is all right to continue. He's back out there, so that change might have to wait a little bit. They'll see how this attack pans out. Keep Shuriaga out there. As Gerd comes off his chest, he looks to avoid the corner. He'll concede the throw, though. And time is running out now. We're into the final 12-13 minutes here at Seymour Shore. Here comes the change. As mentioned, it'll be Levi Shuriaga coming off in place of Andrew Vlahodamus. Makes just his 5th appearance since joining the Sutherland Sharks, and has a big task on his hands now to try and get his side the goal that could be instrumental in securing their safety. Katsuda had his head up momentarily. Back out it goes to Stamatellis. Tried to cheekily flick that over the midfield. He's won it back though, Stamatellis. And now he's found McGowan. This is good from the Sharks. In comes the strike, and it was deflected there from Mason Fernandez. Again, Sydney doing everything they can in front of these shots to deflect them and make them easy for Daniel Solski. Plenty of chances compared to the first half in the second 45, but neither side have made them count as of yet. We've seen Mitch Glasson have a couple for Sydney FC. We saw Lockie McDonald really test Daniel Solski. That's probably been the most meaningful action he's been called into. It was a half shot, half cross that almost floated in. But other than that, it's been hard going for either of these two. Another change is coming for Sydney FC. Looks like it'll be Dylan Rose, so he started last week as well. And now Sydney FC have a counter. This is good here for Sydney FC. Stamatellis at full stretch, couldn't deny them. It's come here for Matthias McAllister, and he wasn't far away. McAllister, who's found the score sheet rather frequently as of late, has 6 goals in his last 7 games, looking to add his 7th, and wasn't far away from doing so. And now that substitution comes, it's Wataru Kamijo, who's been battling hard out there in midfield. He makes way for number 6, Dylan Rose. And so that's all 3 substitution windows used by Sydney FC. And there's no more subs for Jimmy Van Weeren and the visitors. Marich steps in. Couldn't direct it towards Vlahodamus, but Kotaro Katsuda has taken over, and he has a burst of speed. Getting forward is Katsuda. Wanted the foul, though. Arndt disagreed. Glasson touch just got away from him, and now here is Jacob Garner, the central defender, taking matters into his own hands. Cross couldn't connect, and Will Kennedy has the awareness to let that roll out for a Sydney goal kick. And so 10 minutes to go here. At Seymour Shore, still 0-0. Up goes Kalisic. Rose had a man in his back and has won the foul. It was Matthew Morich who pushed him. And so will we be treated to a goal here, or will it end in a 0-0 stalemate? Glasson, he's had a couple of strikes already, gives it out to Ayuk Mo. He's looked dangerous since coming on. A couple of step overs to try and get away from his man and create a bit of space. Still with Mo. Gets into the area, leaves it. It's come back out to Kennedy. In a battle with Jay McGowan, going to ground there was Lockie McDonald. Looks like the Sharks are going to go to their bench as well. Chris Lindsay, who was in the starting 11 last week, he made way for Stamatellis. That change will come soon enough. It'll be just a second of the game for the hosts. We've already seen Mason Fernandez come on and have a couple of touches rather in the final third. And so Matthew Morich, who's taken a couple of bumps and bruises out there in midfield, and you just see he's grimacing and hobbling a little bit as he walks off. And so Chris Lindsay goes straight to the back line. And looks like Takahide Umabachi will take Morich's place in the middle of the pitch. Here is Fernandez, looking to get around his man, Marin France. Just 7 minutes of regulation time remaining in this all-important relegation battle clash. 3 points and a goal here could be vital when they look back at how their respective seasons might end after the next 5 games. And we'll get to who they'll play in just a moment. As the Sharks look to make their way around the back. Lindsay, good turn inside, but he's given away the ball. Here is France. He loves to take on a man, and he's found Matthias McAllister, who's taken it off him, or has it pinched from him by rather Mitch Stamatellis. Youngster being defeated there by the veteran. Fernandez looking to move it forward there for Jackson, couldn't. There is France. Ball is kept in, and there's the pass through the legs. It goes to Fernandez and McGowan, and now the Sharks are hunting for that goal. Fernandez. McGowan is surrounded there by white shirts, and it's Sydney FC who are able to win the ball back. And take a look at the schedule coming for the Sharks. They have Manly away next weekend. That's going to be a huge game. Manly are in the lower mid-table. Then they have the Mariners at home, of course. Mariners, one of those bottom 4 sides as well. Then they have Rockdale away. That's going to be a very difficult game to get a result from. Then St. George City at home and St. George FC at home. So a couple of home games to round out the season. And they'll love to finish the season at home with a couple of wins as well. As for Sydney FC, they have the Wolves at home next week. And then they have Sydney United away. Apia away, Rockdale at home, which are going to be a pair of really difficult games to get results from. We saw Apia put a heavy score on them earlier in the season. And then to round out the season, they have Olympic away. So in terms of looking at their schedule, Sutherland probably have the more favourable draw to end the season. But Sydney FC have been capable of causing upsets as of late, and The side that's battling to stay in this competition, that desperation might kick in, and you never know what kind of performance that they could pull up against one of the heavyweights of this league. For now, though, they'll have to worry about defending, and they've given away a foul there. It was Dylan Rose. As we enter the final 5 minutes now. So who will step up and be the hero for their side? Vlahodamus spreads it wide for McDonald. Driven into the area, can't get past Aaron Gerd. And Glasson was looking to race away there behind the Sydney FC defence. McAllister's looking to continue the press. Omabachi has it under his control now. Stamatellis, you can see the Sharks looking to commit a few more numbers forward now compared to what they were just a moment ago. Omabachi is being hounded in midfield there by Sydney FC, and it again is Dylan Rose giving away the foul. Interesting to see. Hard to tell which of these two sides would be happy with the point. Oh, here go the Sharks. Here is Katsuda looking to feed it Fernandez. A chance to win it for Sutherland. He's dragged out of the box. He wanted the penalty. Play goes on for now. Jackson looking for the cross, cutting it back. They're all lining up for it, and instead it's Sydney FC who clear their lines. And a big moment in this game. The penalty shot has been waved away. Sutherland buoyed on by that opportunity. McGowan flicking it back. It avoids Kataro Katsuda. At first glance, it looked like there was enough of the ball in that challenge. Adrian Arndt was clear in his body language. That was not a penalty. As Matt Jackson dribbles that one over the sideline, might take this moment just to take a quick look at the replay on the stream. Don't have a moment to blink here as Sydney FC are going on attack of their own as France and Stamatellis are battling for it. And good, here is push Vlahodamus. Again, it's all fair for now. It's being all let go by Adrian Arndt in this do-or-die game. Just a couple minutes remaining here at Seymour Shaw. It's Sydney FC on the attack. Broken up there by McDonald. Spaces are opening up on the counter for the Sharks. Omabachi gives it back to McGowan. Out it goes to McDonald. Looking for that cheeky pass forward. It's disrupted by Kalisic. Sydney FC get it forward with Middleton. Only as far as the Sharks back four, and frustration creeping in for Sutherland as they give it away again. Ayukamo has the fresh legs to make a difference. And they'll be whistled for the foul there, Sutherland, and that's good work there by Ayukamo. And the Seymour Shaw fans certainly aren't pleased with that call, to say the least. Into the final minute of regulation time now. This game is hanging by a thread. Marin France on the free kick. There's a few numbers in the box to aim for. Might be a bit of sorting out to do here for Adrian Arndt, keeping an eye on the pushing and shoving. And the free kick is easily dealt with by Sutherland. He's dribbling along the ground. They have to be careful here. They don't give up a counter-attack. Katsuda has won it back for the Sharks. Fourth official's board about to go up from Adrian Arndt, or rather Ayut Naji. And there's going to be 4 minutes of time added on, so plenty of time for both of these two to get a winner. It's been such an arm wrestle for the last 90 minutes. Will one of these defenses break? Nenad Vekic will lump this one into the danger area. 4 minutes confirmed by Adnaji. In it comes. Stamatelis is the target. He flicks it on into the area, looking to continue the attack. Instead, it's Sydney FC who are trying to build a counter. Well dealt with there by Garner. Glasson has won it back. Rose lumps it forward. France over his shoulder. He still has it here. Marin France lines up the shot. It was always drifting wide though. And the wait for the goal and the potential winner continues. A reminder that after this game we have St. George City and Western Sydney. St. George City and Western Sydney, that's a very intriguing game. Of course, the Wanderers served with that 6-point deduction. And then after that at 7 p.m, another game that's crucial in the relegation race. It's Hills United hosting Northwest Sydney Spirit at 7 p.m. Stamatelis, the fancy feet in midfield. It's been turned over though. Mo. The ball is with Sydney FC. Play continues though. Rose almost has it taken from him. Raging to keep it alive. They lose it though as Rose goes in rather strongly on Mason Fernandez, and Sutherland wanted to get the attack going quickly. And Adrian Arn just has to give Dylan Rose the yellow card. So he joins Aaron Gerd in the book. Second man to pick up a yellow card this game. As we're into the 4th minute of additional time now, at the discretion of the referees as to how much beyond this minute will be left. The last chance may be here for Sutherland. Vekic lumps it forward, and that's not really going to cause any stress on the Sydney FC backline, as Daniel Solski will get us going again with the goal kick. So with the draw, both these sides will go from 21 points to 22 points, which, depending on the results of the remaining games, see how that goes. If Sydney FC, they'll temporarily be out of the bottom 2. They'll go into 14th. Sutherland will stay in 13th. But depending on whether Hills and Mariners pick up points, that could all change, and Sydney FC might find themselves back on the bottom, and the Sharks might find themselves joining them in the bottom 2. A goal for either of these two would make that an irrelevant consideration, as here is Jay McGowan. He's been the man that's made the difference in so many games as of late for Sutherland. Can he do it in the final moments here? Jackson disrupts that counter and sends the ball forward for his own attackers. There is Jay McGowan. It's still here for Mason Fernandez. And didn't make the required connection on it. He was turning and shooting. Had an eye for the spectacular, but it was easy enough for Solski. McDonald and Katsuda. McGowan's let it run along, and he has the pace to get forward. Looking for that ball into the area for Vlahodamas, and there is Solski sweeping his defensive line well. Time running out. Blake Bolwell. Can't find Marin France. As Fernandez keeps it in, but his flick on only finds Dylan Rose. Spoke too soon though, it did go out. Back here with Joe Kalisic. And they can't be separated after 90 minutes. And as it did in round 10, it ends 0-0 between Sydney FC and the Sutherland Sharks. So they'll have to wait and see what the outcome of Hills and Northwest Sydney Spirit is later tonight. And then Mariners and Blacktown City tomorrow to see whether or not they'll be in the danger zone after the end of round 25. I've been Will Constantinidis with you for this game. A reminder to stick around for the remainder of the matches in the NPL New South Wales men's competition here on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel.
boys' home.